Oh, these aren't done.
Thank you, Dan. I'd like to call to order the Monday, October 1st meeting of the City of Monona Finance and Personnel Committee. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood?
Here.
Alder Kitzler?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor?
Here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 17th meeting?
Move to approve. Second.
Any comments or corrections, additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. There are no appearances, no unfinished business. Under new business, item 6A, consideration of resolution 18-10-2298, authorizing the issuance of $4.9 million in general obligation promissory notes and the issuance and sale of $4.9 million note anticipation notes, series 2018D, in anticipation thereof. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Before Jeff,
Okay, Mark.
well, Jeff is walking up there, just a reminder what this is. So last meeting, we had a approved resolution to authorize Jeff to start working with bondholders to come back with this loan right here. So this is basically 4.9, is basically for the riverfront, all this for the riverfront project. There is going to be some capped interest in there, but I think we detailed it out at the last meeting what this is all for. How we get to the 4.9. So.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. You may recall this issue we had rated last time. We postponed it primarily due to the timing of the receipt of the bids. As Mark said, the full 4.9 is for tax incremental district number 9. I passed out a few sheets of paper to you that are stapled. It's the front cover of what is called the preliminary official statement. You will see that these notes are a AA stable. Keep in mind our long-term rating is a AA plus, which is one grade higher than these, and the reason being is we aren't levying or pledging to levy a tax on this issue. Unlike our long-term general obligation rate where we have the ability to levy a tax without limit, we're only promising, I think Doug had some questions last time, and I teased a little bit about this being the most flimsy promise a municipal government can make, because all we're really promising to do is issue something in the future to take these out. But we still get incredible rates. These types of financings are typically done this way. We have included in here $4.6 million for project costs in Riverfront, and there's $300,000 of capitalized interest. I think, as you're well aware, TID 9 is just going to start to cash flow, and of course we don't want to levy any tax on the property taxpayers. This is a self-contained tax incremental unit, and we fully intend to have those increments pay the debt service, but until we get it up and running, it's typical that you would borrow or capitalize interest payments on the debt. We were able to sell these debt at a slight premium. We'll be paying not only the $4,900,000, but we'll be paying $23,079 in premium. All issuance costs are net of that, so that's all been paid out. You have a yield on these. They're due September 1 of 2022. There's a reason for that, and you'll see quickly. The yield, the price was sold at a 2.32%. And it has a call feature of September of 2020. That's significant because we do have an issue outstanding. And if you'll turn the page, you'll see the cover of an official statement from 2017, where we issued some note anticipation notes for both tax incremental district 9 and 8. The majority of that 2022 maturity, September 1, you will see, which had a yield of a 2.30 at that time, is also callable on September 1 of 2020. Does everyone see that, where I've tried to highlight, asterisk and highlight? So there's a reason that we've matched the call date, obviously, so that when the increment is established, we'll be able to address both these issues at the same time with, depending on where those cash flows are. So we're going to match the debt service to the cash flow, as opposed to getting debt service and then levying a tax to meet the debt service. If you'll turn one more page, you will see the first, basically it's a photocopy of Bloomberg wire. It's for the city of La Crosse. They sold 2.7 million on the 9/20 of this year, just a couple days, 10 days ago, 11 days ago. And if I can direct you to the 2022 maturity, the yield is a 2.25. These are a AA1. Remember, we're selling our NANs one grade lower. We're at 232, but we're also 5 months longer. And keep in mind, since that time, the feds have bumped the discount rate 25 basis points. So we're 7 basis points or 7/100ths off of that market for basically a letter grade differential. I would argue to you that we really sold these today based on your AA plus, not your AA. And I think it's indicative. If you turn one more page, you will see an issue that we purchased out of the markets, Milwaukee Area Technical College. That sold on the 25th. That was the day before the feds met and bumped the discount rate 25 basis points. That's also a AA1. And we bought that away from all other competitors at a 230. So we're 2/100ths off of that yield and that maturity, and we're three months longer. Does everyone understand? So there's no question in my mind that we were able to sell your securities today more closely aligned with your AA plus than with the actual AA that Standard & Poor's has assigned to this. But that being said, I'm pretty happy about that, considering where the economy has gone. And again, I'll go back to Alderman Wood. I had some good questions last time about the economy, and it's moving along quite nicely. 4.1% growth. You'd expect that, interest rates would have moved up even quicker than they have, and it's just recently that the 10-year Treasury went over 3%. So our timing was pretty good for these issues, and relatively speaking, we've got some pretty good interest rate dollars to complete a good portion of this infrastructure on the riverfront project. Any questions?
I have a very elementary question. So does that mean you already purchased it, or you're about to purchase this and you somehow locked this
I think
in?
they've been all allotted. I think they're sold. I'm not positive. I can find out.
Gotcha. Oh, no.
But, oftentimes and most times when we come to you that evening, they're not. But just due to what we thought might happen this week, we actually marketed last week. So my guess is having Thursday and Friday and today to sell them. And no offense, it's not a large issue, 4.9. We're doing 80, 100 million dollar issues. So my guess is they're probably gone.
Okay.
If they're not, the market's trailing away from us, and we're going to lose money on the ones we still have. So you're welcome to buy them at those prices. In any case, it was a really good sale, and I think going into the market last Thursday was probably a good bet.
Any other questions?
But that was a good question, not elementary, a very good question.
Fine, yeah, so I think maybe what's behind the question is, so what if we decided tonight to say, no, we don't want to do this?
That's another good point. In 38 years, that's happened one time to me, and it was purely political for a city hall up in northeastern Wisconsin. And it was a good friend of mine that I went to high school with that was happened to be on the finance and tabled it. So I had to go back and tell the bondholders, forget it. And, they're going to accept the rates, and 2 weeks later, they went back into the market and got interest rates that were, thank goodness, no worse than what they had that week. But in this market, Doug, you could say, no, we don't want this. We want to go back into the market for whatever reasons. Bondholders don't really like that unless you have a good reason.
Right.
A good reason would be, we're not doing the project, or, the land we were going to build on has a sinkhole now, and it's certainly not buildable. So it can happen. It doesn't happen very often, but then, of course, we'd go back and be subject to all these wonderful folks who like Monona bonds in their portfolio.
Right.
But yeah, good question. Does happen. It's really infrequent, as I said. 38 years, it's happened to me one time.
Anything else? Okay.
But I would say, being such a wonderful client, I think you would have said something to Mark when we were marketing it last week, and Alderman Wood said, we're not going to go with this, and I would have said, whoa, let's pull it out of the market.
Joan, do we need a roll call on this?
Yes.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Kinsler.
Aye.
Alderman Wood.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Next item, 6B, consideration of resolution 18-10-2304, approving the 2019-2023 capital improvements program and 2019 capital borrowing. Do we need a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move approval.
Second.
But I don't know how you want to do this. So basically, these are the attached are the budget amendments. I don't know if you want to go through each budget amendment or how do you want to proceed on this? I guess how do you want to
How
proceed?
would you like to go through each of these now or wait until the council meeting?
I'm fine with waiting, but I don't know how you guys. Yeah.
Let's just wait.
Should we,
Unless there's, I mean, if there are questions on them, but
Do we table it?
I think we've talked about, none of these are a surprise, you know.
no,
And I know in the past, we usually just refer it on to the city
Yeah.
council. I don't know if
Right.
that's,
I mean, I can ask this at this, sorry, question.
okay.
I can ask this at the city council, but did Jake look into with Brad the, I think,
Oh.
HVAC issue or, no, boiler issue?
I don't have an answer on that. I
Okay.
don't think they did. actually.
Maybe he'll be here.
I don't think he had as of he and I met one day late last week.
Yeah.
He hadn't anyway.
All right.
So we have a motion
To approve.
to approve. Do we want to just have a motion to refer to the council or
Yeah, so I'll withdraw the motion to approve.
is that okay with you all to
That's
get
okay.
started?
And move to forward to the council without recommendation.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6C, consideration of resolution 18-10-2301, approval of participation in a Wisconsin Bureau of Transportation safety grant titled 2019 Capital Area OWI Task Force. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Kurt?
All right, up for your consideration is our participation in the OWI Task Force Grant. This is a similar format to the last couple of years. The Monona portion of this grant will be $12,000, and that's for overtime wages. There's the standard 25% soft match, and that is $3,000. That comes out of benefits, fuel, mileage match, and on-duty traffic enforcement efforts. As an OWI grant, it is limited to the hours of 6 p.m. to 4:30 a.m., and the $12,000 yields approximately 5 to 6 4-hour deployments per month.
Any questions?
Do you
Andy?
find it to be effective?
Yes, I mean, certainly, we're catching people.
Perfect.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6D, consideration of resolution 18-10-2302, approval of participation in a Wisconsin Bureau of Transportation safety grant titled 2019 Dane Suburban Seatbelt Task Force. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
All right.
All right, this is a countywide grant administered by the town of Madison. The Monona portion is $15,840 for overtime wages. The 25% match, again, would be $3,960, made up again of benefits, mileage, and on-duty traffic efforts. The $15,840 yields about 8 4-hour deployments each month of the grant.
Questions?
Just a comment,
Mark?
on both these, I forgot to mention, we budget for these in our in operating budget, so there's no budget, that's why there's no budget amendment, because we do budget for these in 18 and 19, we'll have budget for them.
Question.
Doug?
Do we know, have the seatbelt usage numbers changed over the years?
Very little. Wisconsin is still a little bit behind nationwide. Monona is pretty good. And the grants also target speed and any other violations that occur in front of us.
Right.
Anything
So
else?
then I would assume then the percentages of persons killed and injured isn't changing
Not a
either.
lot, not a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, consideration and acceptance of the general fund accounts payable checks dated September 14th to the 27th, 2018. Documentation of invoices paid is available in the city clerk's office. Mark?
Yeah. Just kind of go through the invoices here. Kind of reference the page number in the top. Page 1, Alexi Burleson. Here's an update. Just 1 month worth of billing for our attorney. Page 2, boulder climbing gym. Just gonna say there's gonna be a lot of these that are gonna be in a description for Fall Festival, which was this last weekend. Underneath that, a little further, Capital Underground. Southern Circle, there was emergency repair we had to for cracked sewer, sanitary sewer pipe. Page 3,
Mark, I've got a question on that previous page. The clean power municipal room maintenance, it's 3292, but is that for cleaning in here?
it's for cleaning in here.
Do we budget for that? I don't remember seeing.
There's a budget number for there.
Okay, you have to show me where that is, because I don't
Yeah.
remember. I thought the paying of the
Yeah, probably
gas and electric was intended to cover all this other stuff.
Yeah, so maybe that should be switched over to. Page 3, Dell Marketing, backup server, a lot of stuff now with the cloud, and a lot of stuff with the police department that need servers. We just have a lot of servers, so we have this as a backup. Page 4, General Engineering Company. This is for the August building inspection. This number is a high number. Why this is high right now is there's a lot of work going on right now at the riverfront. So these next couple months, while they're busy down there, will be a little bit higher than the usual. The usual is around 7,000. Page 5, Hamburg equipment for sand, for about basically 11,000. This is the sand costs for one of the sand costs for the flooding. Anything with a 603 number, this account number is all flooding related. So this was used during the lake level increase.
About how many more would you expect?
How much more? I think we have all our bills in
Oh, dear.
with this. I believe the plastic in the is actually more expensive than the sand. Yeah. Let's see here. So, kind of towards the end, the very kind of last page, Strand, page 14. Here again is all the activities they're working on, all the contracts they're working on for us currently right now. And kind of underneath that, Vanderwall, they are finishing up on their sign code contract. That will be going to fairly soon. They'll be coming through planning commission in here within the next month or two.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.